Long ago, peace returned to this tumultuous land, and Lilties kept the highways safe. At long last, travelers walked the roads without fear of monsters. The Ukes constructed a great sluice to channel water down from Lake Shalla, transforming Jagan Creek into a great river. Over time, the Jagan turned the vast plains of Fung into farmland, thereby providing food to people the world over. To us, this sluice is more precious than anything.
Veo Lu Sluice. Now, as I said in the previous video, this will be my first run through the area. So I'm going to do this once, but then once I'm finished, I'm actually going to come back multiple times to try and get the rest of the artifacts. Mainly because there's one specific one here that can only be found at Veo Lu Sluice. And it can be amazingly helpful. I'll try and see if I can get it at the first shot, and if not, I'll maybe edit in another clip of me finding it here. You can usually win it from a boss, or an enemy will sometimes drop it. However, it is a rare drop, so I guess we'll just have to cross our fingers to see if we find it. Again, this is another pretty straightforward level. There's not a whole lot of twists and turns. It's basically a straight path if you think about it. There are a few offshoots, but there is one main direction you have to go in order to get to the right place, so it's really not that complicated of a level. However, there is one itsy-bitsy thing that sets it apart, and these are water switches, which I'll get to in a second. You stand on these, and water shoots up a key. Now sometimes they're pretty straightforward, but other times you do have to think about them a little bit, because oftentimes, especially when you're in single player mode, the key is out of reach of the chalice's range. It's a little easier if you're in multiplayer mode, as you can just move the chalice around, but for me, oftentimes I'm going to have to use the chalice as a weight. Sometimes I can run fast enough to make it before the key sinks back in, but other times the location is just too far away. Now up here, there should be a defensive artifact. A drill, defense +1. Now, if you're a Uke, I highly recommend that you do this level multiple times in order to find that rare artifact. It will be immensely useful for magic users. Now, some of those areas, I just passed one, it looks like a series of steps. They actually are, but this area changes every decade or so. And right now it's filled with water, and in this game I can't swim. So even though there are treasure chests that you can sometimes see down there, like maybe in a second you might see one. Yep. I can't get there yet until the water dissipates, or drains, or whatever. So I'm going to have to wait a few more years before I can get that chest. You don't have to go this way, it's just that the enemies in this little section here usually drop a good amount of gil, either in cycle 2 or 3. Gil each. Even in cycle 1, the gil's pretty good. Normally I only get like 10 gil from enemies. Just chump change. 100 gil is pretty good this early in the game. want that there. Is the item at the bottom of your command slot is... Like, I always cycle left and right in order to go from attack to cure. I'm a Selkie, so I don't defend much. So if a Phoenix down is there, I have to go through all the loops to get to cure before I get to it. And I just like to make it easy on myself and make it a one-tap process. We have our very first Griffin as well. So you see, enemies are starting to get a bit larger, and they'll take a few more hits to kill as you go on now. As we proceed, we're going to encounter more and more enemies like this. I finished it off fairly quickly because I've obtained a few extra artifacts and I leveled up my weapons fairly early. But normally that Griffin takes quite a few hits to kill, and it will later on for me as well as I continue to move forward. And that was probably the trickiest key. If you're in single player mode, you're really going to have to book it. Just place the chalice on the steps and run for it. Don't even bother carrying it, because when you're poisoned or you're in miasma, you can't carry items. You can take them about 2 steps, but then you'll automatically drop them. Just take it out of the stream, drop it, and run. After all, it's not like it's going to go anywhere. And the last door I opened did lead to the boss, but there's some stuff I want to pick up over here first. Namely the Moogle House, which is to my right, which I'll get to in a second. And this Griffin here sometimes drops that special artifact I'm looking for. Come on. Nope. Moon Pendant, that's pretty good, but there's something else that I'm looking for instead. And what I just demonstrated here, you can also cast Cure far away and then run into it. You don't have to cast it directly on people. You can also cast Cure on more than one people that way. Did I get a matching stamp? Nope. Well, I didn't find the artifact on the field, which is kind of a bummer, but at the same time I'm not surprised. It is a rare drop. So hopefully with a little bit of luck, I'll be able to get it from the boss. Hog is so cute carrying the chalice. I'm sorry, he just is. Now, this boss, he can cast ice on you, and he can also catch you on fire later on. He also has 2 minions that can cast slow. As well as like the boss in Tada, if you get too close to him, he'll release a mist that also casts slow on you. He has fairly decent physical attack, so for the most part I'd recommend either hitting him with magic or focus attacks. Me, I have a certain range I like to get where he can't hit me. You can fire off 2 fists from that range, but usually if you stay in the middle, he can't hit you. Doesn't have the best aim, does he? Oops. Wrong spell. See, that's why I like my clear being just one tap away. Otherwise, I sometimes get confused too easily and end up casting the wrong spell. Sometimes I wish the button scheme was a bit more complex than use A for what's in the slot and cycle through it with L. Okay, now that we've got him more than halfway, he can use his fire abilities. Now, he does have medium physical attack, but if you're on fire, his attacks do around double the damage, so try and avoid that if you see it. He's almost done, but I need to cure just in case. His minions also have a fairly decent respawn rate compared to other ones. Like, they respawn a lot faster than some of the other bosses. So close. Yep, there we go. He was so close to that, I just figured I'd go for it. This game's actually very pretty for the Gamecube. To me, it's kind of disappointing that you're stuck in an overhead view all the time. To me, if you played in single player, I kind of wish you could have more of a direct third-person view where you got to see everything more close up. I just think it'd make this game a lot prettier. It'd be a bit difficult in multiplayer mode, but why not? Mail time. Hopefully it's not from my mother again. I kind of like to try and make all my family members evenly like me, so great. Mars Pass. When you reach the pass, don't forget to drink the water. I hear it's the finest. It may have a bad aftertaste, but you know that means it's good for you. I'll drink it just to make you happy. And I'll send you another random useless item from my inventory. Let's see, what can I send? Strange seed. Let's see what this thing does. But yeah, I like to level up my family members' happiness equally, especially the father's, because then he makes you better stuff. So it's kind of disappointing when you get the same family member writing you over and over again. It's like, come on, I want to get better stuff from other people, too. Let's see if I get it. Yes, I got it! It's the Blizzard Ring. You can cast Blizzard at any time, no Magicite needed. Now, you can only get this item in this level, so get it now.